Hey guys, I'm so excited to finally be back in front of you. It seems like forever since we've gotten to shoot a vlog together. September, literally over the Diana Skyhawk. And look, I do want to apologize for having been absent for so long. It was really a perfect sequence of events that led up to that. As you know, we did our Skyhawk, and then the area where I filmed totally flooded out. And then it seems like the next thing I knew, it was off to Arizona to film for the Extreme Bench Rest. Then I came back, and a week later, I was off to Europe to film in Sweden, Germany, and the Czech Republic. 3 factory tour vids, one at FX Airguns, one at H&N Sport Pellets, and one at JSB Pellets. By the way, 3 of those 4 mentioned videos are already up over on my primary YouTube channel, the Airgun Exploration and Advancement channel for you newcomers, AEAC Home. And for those of you that have been following me on Instagram, Hooked on Air, and Facebook, AEAC or Airgun Exploration and Advancement channel, thank you. You all know what I've been up to day to day over the last couple of months. But like I said, I am excited and we have a ton to cover, so let's get into it. All right, this here is the Edgun Matador R5M, and it is manufactured in Russia. It came to me by way of Brian Meckler, who is the owner of Airgun West, which is the distributor, service, warranty, and parts center for all of North America, right? Now, normally when I get product through here on AEAC, I'm familiar with the brand, right? But this brand is one that's new to me, so I do want to kind of cover a little bit of background so that you guys have a context to absorb everything I'm going to be sharing with you about the performance and what I've learned of this gun over the last couple of weeks. And then, of course, if you're new around here, this is just the first step. The second step is y'all go over to my primary YouTube channel, AEAC Home, to catch the full review. And that'll happen probably in the next week or so. Have super high winds today and tomorrow. But then I will get out there and get to filming, and we'll do our 50-yard, 100-yard, trigger, sound, all that good stuff. I'll get you all through it. I promise, okay? But who is Edgun? Now, I imagine the answer to that is going to be different for different people, right? For me, I first learned of Edgun back in 2010, 2011, when Ted Beer of Ted's Holdover started putting out YouTube videos of this product. And that's, in my mind, when it kind of really got traction here in the United States. And of course, it's not just because Ted did it. It's because of all that this product is, all right? So let's just sort of touch on, you know, kind of a little bit of an idea of what that is kind of at its foundation. I feel like the product's been very successful because in such a short package, just 27.5 inches long and just about 7.3 pounds naked, you get a ton of performance and you get a ton of robustness. This is a really rugged, durable gun. More so than, honestly, anything I've ever come across before. All right, so, you know, and we will get it all into that, I promise. But you kind of marry all that together, and those are probably really good reasons why this gun has gained the popularity that it has over the years. Oh, and there's one more, and I would love to hear from you guys in the comments down below on this one. So, in my mind, this form you see here, this compact bullpup form in an air gun, really took off and I think kind of originated with Edgun. If I'm wrong about that, tell me, but that's my perception right now because I don't have memory going back any further of any product being in this form, being so popular so early and part of such kind of like a big thing that happened here in the U.S. with other airgun manufacturers jumping on board and enjoying the success of that basic form, right? So Edgun, they come out of Russia. They are owned by Edward Gavarov, who is known as Ed. He has his own YouTube channel. He is the owner, inventor of Edgun. His YouTube channel is called The Edgun. Tons of how-to videos, but it's also going to be mixed in with his lifestyle and family videos as well, which is really cool because he kind of lets you in on who he is, and I found that enjoyable, right? But the company itself is made up of about 60 employees. Their home base is St. Petersburg, Russia, where Ed lives. Manufacturing is out of Moscow, Russia. They have 14 full-time assemblers, so it kind of gives you an idea of the size of the company. And then, like I said, over here in the States, distribution, sales, service, warranty, parts, all that is kind of handled, and retail sales is handled by Edgun West. All right. Now, what are your resources for this product? So, in other words, if this brand is new to you, like it was to me, how do you get warm and fuzzy and feel comfortable about support? Okay. So I visited Edgun West, and what's really neat is he has a resource tab on his website. You go to that resource tab, and you're going to see airgun videos, owner's manuals, schematics, parts, and you can click any one of those subsections in the drop-down, and he has his own YouTube channel called Edgun West, I believe. And if that's not it, you can find the name of it right there in that drop-down, where Brian has videos on how to do everything to this gun. Tuning, adjusting, servicing, warranty, performance stuff. It's all there for you. On that note, I found it interesting that the Matador did not ship with an owner's manual. And upon further digging, I kind of get the feeling that's because this is a company that's being very progressive or trying to be progressive, and that they're stepping into the modern era, not area. I'm a little rusty at this vlog thing. And here's evidence of that. There is a QR barcode stamped or painted or whatever that is, embossed right into the side of that gun, right into the side of the gun. And what that means to you is you can download a QR barcode reader onto your cell phone, scan that wherever you are, and now the owner's manual goes with you wherever you are. But you can also download it and print it out from Edgun West if that's what you want to do under that resource tab. Now, on that owner's manual, before I get too distracted by all this goodness going on over here, you know, in the airgun industry, there's good owner's manuals, there's bad ones, there's tweeners. And I gotta say, this Edgun manual is one of the best I've ever come across because it is so detailed in its how-to as far as its adjustments. In that owner's manual, there's full schematic breakdowns if you want to work on and service the gun on your own. There's part numbers on everything. It's just a lot. It's really good. It's in color. It's very clear, and it's very well written. And I read it, and I didn't come away really with too many questions that I couldn't find over on Edgun West under his how-to videos. So all of that together made me feel very warm and fuzzy as a consumer, right, acting on your behalf, to a brand that's new to me, and I wanted to pass all that along to you guys so you kind of have a context, like I said, to enjoy what I'm about to share with you about the gun and what I've learned of it over playing with it for the last couple of weeks. So that was a lot. All right, so the gun itself comes in a standard and a long. Price point here is about $1,875. So you're surfing in the sea of Daystate, Brocock, FX, RTI Arms, the Vulcan, and I'm sure I'm forgetting some others, Air Arms, but kind of in that high-end luxury brand territory. That's just where you are. All right, so there's a standard, there's a long. This is the standard, which is the shorter of the two. It is just 27.5 inches long. Hang your mind up on that point. Put it in your pocket for later, okay? That's one of the great things that's going on here. All right, you can see this comes in a nice walnut stock. This is Czechoslovakian walnut, okay? I was just in the Czech Republic. Beautiful place, so that means something to me. I don't know if it's going to mean something to you, but it's a damn nice walnut stock. I do want to mention about that stock before I forget, because I feel like this is missing from a lot of bullpups, except coming to mind the caliber gun and maybe this one. Look at that nice flat bag rest on the front of the bullpup. Now I get it, the bullpup is made for hunting, it's nice and compact, so you know, maybe that doesn't make sense for everybody, but for a reviewer like me or for a guy or gal that wants to go compete, you know, at AEAC or the Pyramid Air Cup or the Extreme Bench Rest or whatever, you know, you can kind of have a one gun does all. because of that stock design. If you don't like the walnut, it also comes in a synthetic, which I believe is black. And it comes in a multicolor laminate. And you can see all that over on Edgun West, all right? So the standard, all right, takes advantage of a 250cc air reservoir. The long takes advantage of a 323cc air reservoir. You get more shots with the other one, okay? This one is more compact. You get fewer shots. Let's talk about that reservoir for a second. So what Edgun kind of does different is this is a 300 bar fill reservoir. So what that means is when I go to the owner's manual, it says the max fill pressure is 300 bar, okay? But in talking to the distributor, they're telling me recommended fill pressure is 250 bar. I've come across that I came across that with caliber gun. So 300 bar fill. The distributor recommended 225 bars. I don't really understand why that is. If the gun's designed to do it, it's not like it's going to break. I know they test these tubes to way, way beyond 300 bar. I've been told that, and everything's just fine. My guess is they want you focusing on that 250 bar fill, because our SCBA tanks just fill to about 305 bar. And, if you're hand pumping or if you have a scuba tank, and you want to feel comfortable that you can just fill this to 250 bar and still get performance out of the gun, you can. Don't know if I'm right. Maybe Edgun Russia or Edgun here in the United States will talk to us down in the comments down below and let me know. But let us know, but that was my thinking kind of on that's about just feeling like the gun can give you performance without having to go to 300 bar. On that note, I did shot charts at 250 bar down to about 105 bar, and I was getting 55 shots on the regulator. The gun is regulated with an Edgun regulator. I was getting 55 shots with an extreme spread of 16 feet per second and a standard deviation of just 3.3 feet per second. That's on the 250 bar fill. That is extraordinarily good. It actually falls off the regulator at 125 bar, meaning the reg is set to 125 bar. But the gun is kind of tuned so well that it'll still shoot flat till you get around 105, 110 bar or so. So you can stretch that 250 bar fill, in my experience, out to about 55 shots. Power, huge, okay? The average of those 55 flat shots is 45 foot-pounds by way of pushing a 25.39 grain to about 890 feet per second as an average, okay? Put that one in your pocket. 27.5 inches, 45 foot-pounds, 55 times over on one fill. So those are two kind of biggies, okay? I did stretch it out to 300 bar because I'm a curious cat, as you guys are. And I picked up another 15, 20 good shots, 300 bar down to, again, around 105-ish. I think I was about a 302 bar fill, to be fair. 75-ish good flat shots before things just pancaked and came off. So what does that mean to you? Well, that means to you, if you're able to fill the gun, if you have the equipment to fill the gun to 300 bar, this is a 75 shot field carry at 45 foot-pounds a shot on one fill at just 27.5 inches long. So those by themselves are two huge victories in my book for any gun. All right. The barrel is Lothar Walther match grade. It begins here and it ends right about there. Okay. Cleaning it is really quite enjoyable. Very simply, I did it two ways. I took a patchworm and I loaded it through here, unscrewed this bit here, which gives access to the front of the barrel here, and I was able to pull patches through no problem. If you want to use like a cleaning rod, or if you want to more easily pull patches through, one 3mm Allen right on the back here. This piece slides off. There's a kind of like a lock and key piece, which needs to be kind of popped out to take it all the way out. And then again, with this off, now you've got a straight shot through for cleaning that barrel with no O-rings that can be messed up by your cleaners. I always use Ballistol anyway because it's always kind of O-rings. But if you wanted to use something a little bit more aggressive, you probably could, as long as you take great care not to let that leak down into the transfer port. Main point is it gives you access to just barrel metal, no O-rings if you want to be a little bit more aggressive with your cleaning. Okay, speaking of taking this off, you'll probably notice how gigantic this moderator is. It does a very good job to tame and swallow up those 45 foot-pounds. This is not a loud gun, all right? This is more than just a moderator. It also has an air stripping design built into this piece right here, which works to stabilize the pellet and get the air away from the back of the pellet as it leaves the muzzle of the gun, which just increases accuracy when you're playing with these things out to 50 and 100 yards, which we will get to later in the week, I promise. All right, so what's the other big kind of to-do about the R5M? I'm going to show it to you right now. Well, you probably can't see with the scope on that end. All right, when you look at it this way, you're going to see a cocking arm here, and you're going to see a cocking arm here. All right, so not only is this a forward cycling cocking design, all right, not back here, but up here where it's quick and easy. All right, but you lefties, take note, you can cock it this way. That's all there is to it. All right, there's a cock and decock. And for you righties, you can bring it up. You can bring it up this way. Okay, and there's your decock. All right, so that's kind of a biggie too. One of the most common criticisms I see that have become pattern on my two YouTube channels are, hey, we're a lefty, can it be switched over? Well, for you guys and gals that have been giving me that message for years, your ship has come in with this gun, right? Not only is it very convenient to operate, but you can access that from both sides, right? On that cocking, I would call it somewhere between light and moderate. It is not difficult, especially for a 45 foot-pound rig. Forward cycling is equally as smooth, but it's a little bit of a bumpy ride. And what I mean by that is because the tolerances are so tight, you're gonna feel yourself pushing that pellet through the magazine, over the double O-rings that kind of hold the pellet in that magazine, and past the O-ring that kind of seals up the breech and into the breech. It's not hard, but just to be mindful, it's going to be clicky and bumpy, which to me, I actually enjoyed it. It added to the oh, what's a good word? The personality of the gun. It was great. Okay. Magazines. This does ship with 2 9-shot mags. It's a 25 cal. You can get these in 17722 or that 25 cal. It also ships with a Foster Quick Connect. It ships with a fill probe. And this one came with a spare ring O-ring kit. So a spare O-ring kit. So I'm presuming they all will too. It also came with a nice, this almost feels like an Alcantara microfiber that you would have in a car seat. It's very soft on the cheek, and it very simply snaps right in there. The reason I took it off is because I didn't want to cover up that QR barcode and forget to tell you guys about it. But it's very comfortable. It's a very comfortable hold. It's very well balanced. Here's the sound. Actually, you're not going to have sound because the safety is on. The safety is activated on dual sides. There it is right there. Nope. Oh, you can't cock the gun when the safety's on. And that reminds me, this is kind of a really cool safety design. The safety design actually puts a chunk of metal behind this apparatus, this breech apparatus in here. So no matter what, this gun can't be cocked and the trigger can't be pulled with that safety on. And it's kind of I think in Edgun's words, it's meant to be a foolproof, very safe safety design. All right, but there's the cock. All right, there it is. Okay, so that's how fast you can activate this gun and cycle it in the field, and safety goes back on. As long as we're over here on the rear quarters of the gun, I should probably touch on this. All right, this is the this is like an indexer on-off switch for the magazine. So when I cycle this, and this is in the on position, it's going to auto rotate that magazine for you. If I do not want it to auto rotate the magazine, and the only time I can think that that would be of benefit to me anyway, is if I think that I've fed a pellet in there and I don't want to have to remove the magazine, I can flip this off. If I've fed a pellet in there and I've decocked the rifle, I can flip this off, cycle it again to recock it, like maybe I'm carrying it around in the field. And then, you know, in that I can have control of when that magazine does and doesn't index, so I don't double feed the gun. All right. Let's talk about the gun in general. And this kind of blew me away. So you guys know I'm really fortunate that I get to put my hands on a ton of great airgun product. And something that really stood out to me with this product is Edgun likes to refer to it as robustness, but to me, the rigidity is the real takeaway. Long story short there, as you know, they're manufactured in Moscow. The aircraft grade aluminum that is sourced to manufacture this entire gun is a special grade of aluminum. It's a very high grade, very high strength aluminum that is sourced from Russia and can be found only in Russia, to my understanding. And this gun is built of it. And what that meant to me was this thing is insanely rigid. Like, I can't freaking flex this thing at all. It's just not moving. The only thing I feel moving is the inside of my body. And for a field gun, that can be a real attribute. You know, we kind of live in a time where very high performing guns like that free floating barrel design, and I don't want to take away from it. It's successful. A ton of people hunt with it, and a ton of people perform at a very high level in matches around the world and in hunting with those. But if you're the guy or gal that wants a high performance, high quality basher, and I've seen your comments on my YouTube channels. A lot of you are asking for a rugged gun, because air guns tend to feel dainty and feathery, especially the super high performance ones, or especially the really low cost ones. Well, if that's been a sore point or a pain point for you, this could be your answer. In fact, if you go over to the Edgun, which is Edward's YouTube channel, he has a video where he shoots a 10-shot group with this gun. I think it's at 50 or 100 yards. I can't remember. It's probably 100 meters. And he shoots this from the door sill of his SUV. And then he takes the gun and he takes the scope off, of course. He puts it on the grass and he runs over this back and forth over the R5 4 times. And this is all a seamless, uncut video. Puts the scope back on, gets in the truck, and shoots the group again. Now this is probably a 4,500 pound SUV, and he squashed this thing 4 times over, and it's just a testament to the strength of this product and how things don't get bendy and crunched out of shape. So this is not a dainty product. All right, so I'm losing track now. 27.5 inches, 45 foot-pounds. 55 shots on that 45 foot-pounds, and the incredible robustness. So those are 3 big ones to put in your pocket with this brand. Okay, they come only with Weaver on the top. You'll notice magazine storage is right here. The little spinny guys right here. Those are those 9-shot mags. They simply feed right in there. You got to cock the gun to feed the magazine in. They load great. They shot great. I put every imaginable I put every imaginable 25 caliber pellet through this rig from all the brands that I had here at the house over a day. It was probably 300 or 400 shots at 25 yards to try to get a feel for what it's going to like out at 50 and 100. You know, you got to call that down or I'll be out there all day trying to figure it out. And the magazines were great. It's, you know, got a little lead shavy in here, but the barrel cleaned up nice. That cleaned up nice. I did notice something interesting about the barrel, which kind of surprised me. So when I clean airgun barrels after that huge culling event, some of them like to really hold on to gunk and crap, and others just feel like they're polished inside and they just let that stuff go. And what that means to me is some take 20 patches and some take like 3 or 4 patches. After running all of those pellets through here and I went to clean it, I had like 1 or 2 dark ones and then they started coming out clean. So I don't know if Edgun is polishing the insides of these barrels kind of the way Air Arms does. The other big noticeable for me has been the Air Arms brand that just doesn't hold on to gunk in the barrels. Rapid Air Weapons is another one with their polygonal Lothar Walther barrels. But for what it's worth, wanted to give you that tidbit. I appreciated that about the barrel. And I think what that's going to mean to the end user is it's going to foul. It's going to take a long time to foul, so you can shoot it a lot before you have to clean it. All right. Trigger. Let's talk about the trigger. So bullpups, kind of a sore spot with them and air gunners is that the triggers can be not good. This one's great. Broke for me about 2 pounds. It's 2-stage. It's got I wouldn't say a light first stage. I'll call it a moderate first stage pull. The stop is super clean. The brake is super clean. If you want to adjust it further, you can. Check out that owner's manual. Maybe Ed's got Brian or Ed, have a video on how to adjust that. But I'll just show it to you here. And we'll get, oops, I had my safety on. See, it's not going to cock with that safety on. There it goes. All right. So let's see. I'll do it this way since I'm right-handed. So it's cocked. There's your kind of first stage right there. And whoop. Hey, match grade all the way. What more can we ask for? I know some of you are going to want to adjust that down to a pound. But for a hunting trigger, this has been great. All right, that barrel. Okay, that Lothar Walther match grade barrel. In my experience, those normally like Barracuda, Barracuda Match, Barracuda Hunter Extreme, the JSB stuff. I don't know if it's this one's length or maybe some lapping that they did at the factory. This one just likes JSB stuff. And there were a couple of surprises in there for me that I wanted to share with you. One of those surprises was normally in my experience, when I shoot the 33.95 grain JSB, it will like either the originals or it'll like these Mark IIs. It won't like both. At 25 yards, I mean, it was like acupuncture with these two. So I'm gonna have to get out to 50 to see which one it really likes. But I wanted to share that with you. By the way, it's pushing these to about 775 feet per second. Which is still leaving it about 45 foot-pounds, maybe 45 and a half. It's carrying with it 37, 38 foot-pounds of energy, 25 yards away. So quite a little thumper. All right, the 25.39 grain JSB, it did very well with. The FX 25.39 grain, it did very well with. The Air Arms 25.39 grain, it did very well with. And by the way, if you guys haven't caught the JSB factory tour video, you're going to want to check that out and read the comments because there's all sorts of good myth busting in there on what y'all are thinking right now with these 3 pellets. So I would encourage you to check that out. Okay. I also got some experimental pellets shipped to me from JSB in the Czech Republic. The Hades 25. Again, if you check out that factory tour video, they're making these like crazy right now. So it's just going to take time to get them from the Czech Republic out to wherever you live and on the shelves and stores. But I tested these at 25 yards like I did everything else. They performed very well. A couple interesting takeaways. The point of impact changed up and to the left, not just like higher or lower like you would think with a heavier pellet. I don't know why that is, but they performed well. And they also shot about 15 feet per second slower. I think 875-ish instead of 890. And I also noticed that same slower pattern with the Predator Polymag, all right? It shot these also at 875-ish. They grouped very well. They fit in the magazine, and they gave me no problem. So for a 25-yard squirrel popper, 45 foot-pounds with one of these, it ain't going to be good for whatever you're shooting. But yeah, it was a good day of kind of testing with all that, and I'll get that out to 50. And the only thing you'll see on the final review is probably the 1, 2, or 3 that it did well with at 50 and 100 yards. Because for me, relaying information to you, it's all about that funneling and culling so that you don't have to kind of go through what I go through, even though I know some of you love it. Being an air gunner means to be a discoverer, right? All right, speaking of discovery, I want to talk about the pressure gauge in this gun, and I'm going to show it to you. Here it is. Can you see it? No, of course you can't see it, all right? But if I push this little button, you're going to see it. There it is, 232 bar, okay? That gauge is actually manufactured by Metalux Industries, I believe they're called. If you know that name, you probably know them from BMW and Audi. Okay, those auto manufacturers use Metalux sensors in their automobiles. Metalux is out of Switzerland. They use some kind of aluminum oxide ceramic sensor that's supposed to be like insanely accurate. And I do have to say, this gauge matched the gauge on my SCBA tank that I got from AOA, my 100 cubic foot SCBA tank, perfectly. And it is the only gauge in all of my years with that tank that has matched the pressure readout on that big dial perfectly. And so I'm inclined to believe that these are extraordinarily accurate gauges, okay? I don't care for it. And Brian, Ed, I'm sorry, you know, guys, I appreciate you sending me the gun and you're trusting me to relay the info and carry the mail, but, you know, it also comes with the job, to be honest, right? And I think for the normal user, this is going to be fantastic. But for a guy or gal who's trying to film, it's a pain in the hiney and it slows me down because it times out after 1 1000, 2 1000, 3 1000, 4 1000, and there it goes. And it gives you the temperature inside the tube. Okay? I think for field work and for probably everyone else on the planet except for me, they're going to love that. If I were able to have input and Metalux could do this, I would love for that gauge to automatically turn on when it senses the pressure increasing. So when I go to fill the gun, the gauge automatically, you know, turns on without me having to reach over there and turn it on, because I'm used to just looking at an analog gauge where you can just simply look at it. The other thing I would change is I would, if I could, program it to not give you a readout for 5 seconds, but maybe 15 seconds or 20 seconds. One thing it does do nicely is when the pressure is increasing, so when you are filling it, as long as you've already turned it on, it does continue to display pressure for longer than 5 seconds, as long as it sees that air pressure coming up. Now, by the way, the gauge is called an EDMS gauge, which stands for Edgun Digital Measuring System. I had to memorize that for you guys. That's how much I love you, okay? But it gives you more than just pressure, right? For example, I'm going to turn it on, and I'm going to hit it again, and it's going to give me how many shots I have, or excuse me, that's the pressure. Oh, hold on. So I mash it again. There you go. All those bullets, how many shots I've got left. It says 53. I hit it again, and it's going to give me like some kind of settings place you can go to. All right, hit it again, and it goes back to the pressure. So you kind of like toggle through them. On Edgun West, there's an owner's manual for that EDMS gauge where you can program it, but I wouldn't fool with it if I were you guys. It's probably good just how it is. As far as how many shots you've got left, I found it fairly accurate. I found it telling me I've got about 65 good shots left when in reality I had maybe 55-ish. So that is to kind of give you an idea. I just go off of the pressure and know that after 105, 110 bar, things are going to start flattening out for you or excuse me, falling off of that flat curve, and you're going to lose velocity, okay? Changing the battery on this. I know you're all thinking, oh, it's electric. How do I change the battery? It's actually pretty easy to do. I was intimidated by it at first, but there's a really good video over on Edgun West's YouTube channel and on his website on how to do that. It's, I won't get into it. I'll let you do that, but I will tell you, take great care because the wires that are in there are delicate. They're not like where they're just going to fall apart in your hands, but if you go in there ham-fisted and start yanking, you'll pull it apart. Last thing I want to tell you about that gauge is the chipset that's inside is by Texas Instruments. And we all know them from our calculators in grade school, high school, and college. So, you know, I don't want to be a party killer while there's a ton of great stuff going on with this EDMS gauge. For me, it just kind of slowed me down. And if I could have my druthers, I would just put a good quality gauge on there. I've talked to a couple of you owners that have these. I've read on the forums. You love the gauges, so I don't want to steal the thunder, but I did want to talk about that a little bit longer than usual. All right, so let's go through a little bit of housekeeping before we close it off. All right, the scope. You see the Optison box over here. Today is Monday, Cyber Monday, right? We just came off of the Black Friday weekend. We have Cyber Week promotion, all right, and this on top is an Optison EVE, 4-16 by 44, I think. Yep, PI scope, all right? Now, this is normally a $350, $380 price point scope, okay? I love these scopes, guys. I hardly know where to begin, but let me just kind of get you through the big takeaways. It's small, it's light, it's rugged. The glass is super bright and super clear. It's way above that, its brightness and clearness for its price point. The reticle is razor sharp, which is above its pay grade. Again, that's good most of the time for me, but when you get to be 45 years old like me, you don't see as well. So that really fine reticle can kind of get lost in heavy brush sometimes, but it's fantastic, okay? Has a very generous eye relief. All right, the AO distance measuring, okay, is very accurate. So what I mean by that is you can range very well with the AO adjustment on the scope. If I dial that to clarity, okay, and it says 25 yards on here, I'm 25 yards away. Same for 50, same for 100. That is probably one of the biggest claims to fame I feel that the Optison brand has to tout. Okay. Also, it has a very generous focusing ocular. For us old dudes, is very appreciated as well. It means that you can get the picture clear with glasses, without, and all these other things. The turrets are a toolless, adjustable hunting style of turret, which is just kind of going to give you that lower profile field for the field, and you don't need to bring tools with you to kind of reset them. You just kind of lift, rotate, and drop it back in. And so, you know, there's a lot there for the money. Well, this week they're running a Cyber Week promotion at 3 stores that I know of here in the United States. They are Utah Airguns, they are SPA Weapons, which is Southern Precision Air Weapons, Utah, Florida, and Trenier Outdoors, which is up in Wisconsin. And you can get like a $50, $60 savings on this scope or their 3 to 12. And that kind of puts you in that $280 bucks for the 3 to 12, 300-ish for the 4 to 16. Guys, that's a steal. I know I sound a little bit like a commercial here, but I wanted to share that with you. All right. Speaking of commercials, last thing I want to leave you with is review, discuss, win. For those of you that are new around here, RDW is where the industry sends an air gun to me. I get to review it on 2 YouTube channels, this one on my primary YouTube channel. Then we send you all over to the Airgun Nation forum where you can have a proper discussion and enter in a simple lottery-based pick a number giveaway on the product. And it is with great pride and great pleasure that I want to share with you that Edgun stepped up and Edgun wanted to participate in that review, discuss, win. So what that means to you is that one of you is going to win the actual R5M used in the making of my videos, as well as the Optison scope. Thank you, Optison. A set of Sports Match rings. Thank you, Sports Match. And some pellets from H&N Sport and JSB and some hats and other goodies and paraphernalia. But you will see all of that launched when the main video goes up on AEAC Home. So make sure you're subscribed with your notification bell checked so that YouTube sends you notification when we launch that event, because you only have a 10-day window to pick a number, put it up on Airgun Nation forum, and enter in that simple lottery, and the odds are very good that you can win. By the way, we try to do that monthly, travel and weather permitting. So that was kind of a lot. I don't want to tell you too much more because I got to leave something for the full review. And as I promised, we'll stretch things out to 50 and 100. We'll get into some other talking there. You can catch that over on AEAC Home. So with that, wherever you are, wherever you're doing, I hope you had a fantastic Thanksgiving. Hope you're going to have a great week buying stuff online. And I'll see you guys again soon.